Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how you can toggle between light and dark mode on any platform from this technique. And basically, it's nothing really difficult. All I'm using is simple vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And using the same principles, you can make any website containing light and dark mode. Now that being said, I'm going to show you a little demo here first. This is the light theme of the entire layout. See, I have a vector image here. It's a simple PNG. Then a text, a little toggle mode with the moon icon to show represent the dark mode. If we click on it, the entire screen turns bluish a little bit because I like it that way. You can set your own color for the dark mode. It's up to the preference basically. Now, as you can see, the images are now white and the text is also white. And if I refresh the page, as you can see, the theme stays dark. Now when I switch it to light mode, it still stays the same. So that being said, let's get on to the code. Now, now I've gone ahead and set up the entire thing rather than showing you step by step of how I code the entire thing. I'm just gonna show you a simple layout and I'm gonna explain everything on the way. So firstly, I create a simple div with the h1 tag for hello world and a simple button that has the icon for the moon and the dark. By default, the theme's gonna be on light mode, so I've added the moon icon here. Sorry about that. I'm using the font awesome library, as you can see from here. That being said, let's continue. Okay, after this, where you've created your simple layout that looks like this, or whatever layout you have, all you gotta do is now mix certain variables for your CSS class. And it's fairly easy. Okay, first we gotta go here. You see these two dashes between the tag light dash bg. These are what you call variables. This is how you define a variable in vanilla CSS. After that, I've given it a property. The simple color, light context pt and bg. As this is a simple, just these are simple variables that have different values. Now the trick here is to toggle the variable's value as per our need for the theme. Now as you can see, we have the values, but we need to set the value somewhere in order for us to use it. Now as you can see, I've created another variable here called pg color, and what we're basically doing, we're gonna use these values wherever we want to toggle our colors. For instance, I got the pg color here, so I'm gonna use this in my body and the color in my body. Why? Because when we toggle our light and dark mode theme, we're basically toggling these variables, and these variables will contain the value of our light and dark mode. By default, as I said before, we have the light theme active, so we're using the light bg in our variable, and this is the variable method by default in vanilla css that we're basically using. And in the dark mode, we're basically changing the variable value. Okay, as you a little bit here, and I think this is gonna be much clearer if I show you. Now, as you can see here in the body, I'm basically calling the color and in the bg in the background color variable and the background variable. And these are the variables that we defined earlier that contains the value of what we want to use, light theme or dark theme. And the value is going to be toggled based on these classes. It's as simple as that. Now, I create a simple class dark mode because what we're triggering basically is a class between dark mode and light mode. So when our HTML contains the dark mode class, all of our values will be converted from light to dark. So, like I've given here before, the light BG and the dark BG, the values are gonna shift. Currently, we don't have the dark theme. I'm gonna inspect it. I'm gonna show you here. As you can see, there's no dark theme, but when I toggle, the class has the dark mode on, and now it's removed. This is what I meant when I say we're toggling between the classes. Now, as you can see here, in the dark mode, we've simply changed the values here. Okay, by default, when the dark mode class is not active, these values are going to be used. This is the image that I've talked earlier, and this is the dark mode image. So what we're doing basically is basically toggling all of the class with respect to the parent class. The parent class is the dark mode, and we're toggling this on the basis of we're toggling this using a little bit of JavaScript and an on-click function. I've moved this in a separate file. Here it is, the constant. Okay, well, let me explain what it does. Basically, when we're clicking, this method is being triggered, and what it does is it goes on the HTML body and checks for the class for the dark mode class, and if it doesn't contains the dark mode class, it basically adds it, and if it does, it's removed it. It basically toggling with the property of dark mode. This is our toggle functionality. Now, moving on, we're checking if the body contains dark mode or not. If it does, we're basically switching the icons of our toggler, the thing that the sun and the moon here. This is what we're toggling here, as you can see here. ID toggler. This is the icon, and this is the entire button. The icon class is basically with switching between F and moon and F is sun. Okay, this is it. But this is the general functionality. But if we want to save the current active theme, we have to basically put the value somewhere so that the browser can actually load the value. If we don't save it, it's just gonna reset it to the light theme, to the basic theme that we have initially had. If we wanted to set it to the dark theme, we have to define the dark class over here on load. But since we've left it empty, by default, it's gonna be light theme. So what we're basically doing here, we're basically saving the value in our browser's local storage. We're getting the value, is it dark mode? As we've done here, the same principle applies here. If it's dark mode, it's gonna be the sun. If it's light mode, and it's gonna be the moon. The same thing happening here. If it's dark mode, the value is gonna be dark. If it's light, then the value is gonna be light. You can just put whatever you want here. It's basically for self-explanatory reasons. So after this, we're just basically gonna save this as a string, and when the browser loads, it's gonna go into the browser's local storage and get the value. And how we do that, we're basically gonna create a variable here, and we're gonna parse the storage stored value. By parsing the value, we get the specific element we want, like this current theme that we've saved here. And when we get that, we're gonna check what the value of that is. If the value is dark, as we've specified here, it's gonna toggle the dark mode, and we're basically gonna get the dark mode theme by default. I'm gonna show you here. As you can see, this is my local storage, and the value currently stored is light. Now if I change this, now it's dark, light again, dark. If I refresh, as you can see, I still have the value in dark. But if I delete this, I refresh the page, there's no value. If I keep repeating this, there's nothing. But if I switch it back to dark mode, I get the value, and if I refresh, I still got the value. So it's fairly easy to use, and this is just a basic example, and you're free to use it however you want, play with it, mix and match things, and hopefully this helped you a lot. And if I've missed anything, please feel free to guide me and notify me if I miss anything and help me improve my skills. Thanks.